Dude, the music just gets better every time I hear it. I'll tell you what, makes me feel like I'm sipping a cocktail, just sitting out, just watching the sunset. I mean, it's just an amazing little tune
I
there.
can't
Thank you.
I can't help it. That music sends me to like a tiki bar on the beach. First thing.
That's right. I love it. Well, welcome to Coffee Experts Club, everybody. Great to have you guys back here with us again for another Tuesday of just talking to amazing people about something that we all love, and that's coffee. Obviously, you know, Ben and Drew, they are co-hosts with us for Coffee Experts Club, two guys that have been doing coffee for a long time in a lot of different places. But one of the places that we're most excited about, and has become a recent client of ours is in Belize. And down in Belize, we've got a coffee client called Coffee de los Mayas. If you've been hanging out with us for any amount of time, you've heard us talk about Coffee de los Mayas in San Ignacio, Belize. But the guy that we're going to talk about today, and Drew, I'm not going to lie, I feel like you and I have got to spend a lot of time down there. We've been trying to rope Ben into Belize for a while now. Some Scandinavian adventure instead of coming down to Belize. Although I'm trying to hope that we can just like pony it up for Belize on the backside of Scandinavia. But Belize is such a special place to us. But I'll tell you what, the guy that we're going to talk to today, I'm super excited about, because what he's got going on in Belize is something so unique and something so beautiful. And so we've been doing the show a little over a couple of years now. And I think I'm probably one of the most excited to talk to the guy we're going to talk to today about coffee because of what he's doing. So today we're going to have with us on the show, Malcom Robinson, who is the general manager at Gallon Jug in Belize. And so Malcom, thank you so much for being willing to join us today and hang out a little bit.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Looking forward to speaking about our wonderful products and what we do here. Yeah.
I love it. So Malcom just told us too, obviously in Belize, it just started raining. So he said, hey, if I can't hear you, I'm just going to lean in a little bit because the rain's coming down so loud outside, I can barely hear. So that's the beauty of Belize. That goes from being hot to rainy and all of the above. So Malcom, we're going to hope you hear us all the way through today's show. So Malcom, when I was in Belize, so obviously I've been coming to Belize for the past 22 years, and I've been good friends with Rudy Plett from Coffee de los Mayas for the last 20 years, and just such a good dude. And we started talking about helping him with Coffee de los Mayas. He said, hey, I'd really like to do my coffee through this guy I know at Gallon Jug. And he brought up your name. And Drew and I, as we were consulting with him and talking about coffee and what we'd like to help roll out by way of retail and what that looks like and how it all rolls out. Coffee and sourcing is a big deal. It's a big deal for what, we do is, and it's not just the service industry, it's the quality of what we're serving. And so this is a big conversation. And so when he talked about that, I said, well, tell me a little bit more. And so he started telling me about it. And then he actually flew me out to your place at Gallon Jug, which is, it's not just like right down the street. Anybody that's listening, you're like, well, San Ignacio, isn't it right there? And you're actually located in the middle of a pretty big jungle, and it's a pretty amazing flight and landing in. And when I saw it, I just thought, this could be a picture book. Like this could be like this is what people dream. In fact, I think when I told Ben about it, and I told him just like the relationship and the relationship you had with Rudy and the beans that you were going to be supplying and serving in Belize from Belize, Ben's like, man, coffee retailers in America would dream of a relationship like that. And so, Malcom, we just want to say thank you for how you've partnered with Coffee de los Mayas, and we would love to hear a little bit about Gallon Jug. And I know it's not just coffee that you do there. You guys do so much there on the estate, and we would love just to hear kind of how you got involved and from your end of things.
So I don't know how much time you've got and I've got. It's a hell of a story, actually. Just to recap, I'm from Africa, and originally when the company approached me in 2018, in February 2018, and said, listen, we've got the perfect job for you. I said, I'm not interested. They didn't tell me where it was. I just said, I'm not interested. I don't want to hear where it is. I don't want to know anything about it. I'm happy where I am. I'm having a great time. It's under control. I'm happy, And they called me again in July and said, no, listen, we really want to talk to you. So they said to me, I said, it's okay, so where is it? They said, Central America. I said, no, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. All we hear about Central America is the drugs and the cartels and everything, which is absolutely not true, especially for Belize. And then I said, is it Mexico or is it, Costa Rica? Because those are the main places that you always hear about. And they said, it's Belize. I said, where the hell is Belize? I really have never heard of Belize in my life before. So that's just the short. The owner, Michael Bowen, who owns the company Bowen and Bowen, and also the beer of Belize, Belican beer, and a number of companies. Really a wonderful company, a family-owned company, and it's just absolutely brilliant. He flew me over in the February of 2019. I spent a week here with him on Gallon Jug, and I just fell in love with the place. And just it's just as you say, when you fly in here and you land here, it's like you're living in this little paradise, so removed from everything else that you know. It's just absolutely phenomenal. We are a 30,000 acre private game, or not a game farm, private farm in the middle of 550,000 acres of protected natural rainforest, which is absolutely phenomenal. We're the only private organization in the middle of this 500,000 acres of protected rainforest, which is phenomenal. We've got all five of the big cats here. We've got the jaguar, we've got the puma, we've got the ocelot, we've got the jaguarundi, and we've got the margay, and we've got like 376 species of birds. We've got the tapir. It's just absolutely phenomenal. And I fell in love with it. I went back to South Africa. I was working in Botswana in the safari industry. I was the CEO of two companies up there. And I had a board meeting. And I said to him, so I said, "Are you finally back from your holiday? Are you going to start working this year?" So I said, "I am, but I'm resigning. I'm heading off to Belize." And they just looked at me. They said, "You can't be serious." I said, "I am. It's an opportunity that I have to do. Not so much a financial opportunity for me. Obviously, it's just so much more to it. And obviously, the finances okay. I get paid a salary and I live very comfortably. I've got a beautiful house on the farm here, and I've got everything that I want. What a wonderful company."
Man.
That's just in short how I got here. Loving it. Lots of challenges. I've been here 4 years now. I am a permanent resident of Belize now, and I'm hoping to stay here till I can't work anymore one day. And I hope that's like 10, 12 years away still. So let's see what happens. So Gallon Jug, on the 30,000 acre farm, we've got various operations. I've got 77 permanent staff. Because we're so remote, I've got a private school for the staff. So we've got 4 teachers in the school. So I'm a headmaster as well at this stage, because I'm also manager of the school. And we've got this brilliant eco lodge called Chanchich Lodge. You could have a look at it on our website. It's called www.chanchich.com, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. Besides the lodge, which offers so much activities, we've got so many. You have to stay here for 4 days, and we've got guests that I've just said goodbye to guests now. They've been here 23 times, 23 years in a row, and they stay for like 25, they almost stay a month every year, and it's just phenomenal. Right, they do feel they own the place, but it's wonderful having them though, because they've been here so long. They've seen so many managers come and go over the years. So our main focus on the farm, we've got the horses, we've got the cattle, we've got a hot sauce operation. But obviously what we want to talk about is our coffee. We've got what we say is the best coffee produced at 400 foot above sea level, because I think we're the only people that produce coffee 400 foot above sea level. But it's a good coffee. We've got partners like yourselves that buy our coffees, and it's a really good coffee. I travel with my coffee everywhere now, because I'm so used to it. I don't want to drink any other coffee. The owner, Sir Barry Bowen, he's obviously passed away now. His son is our CEO and owner of the company right now. He started coffee as a hobby. This whole farm was a hobby to him. He let's do this, let's do that, let's build a lodge for his friends, and we've turned it around, and we're making a viable entity for the company. Until recently, we've been very much a expense to the company, but we're trying to turn it around so we can be a contributor to the company, which we're getting right pretty well, specifically with the with our coffees and our lodge. Yeah, so the coffee, he planted Arabica coffee. It grew pretty well. We've got about 36 acres of coffee. Last year we harvested 70,000 pounds of coffee. And the coffee, as you know, has got a certain life period. So we're reaching that period now that we want to start freshening our coffee up a little bit. So
Yeah.
we've introduced Robusta coffee. Robusta coffee, which we've grafted onto Arabica, and it's doing really well. Actually, we've harvested our first harvest this year, and it's really good coffee. Actually, I'm really enjoying it, and it's so we've got a blend of coffee. We've got the Arabica coffee and we've got the Robusta coffee. With the Robusta bean being a little bit bigger and it's more suited to this climate, we felt it's a good mix. And I'm now that I've tasted only the Robusta coffee, I'm very happy with the outcome. It's really good. So we plant our own coffee here, we roast our own coffee here, we dry our own beans, and we just drink our own coffee as well. It's brilliant. Yeah.
Wow.
And I think, yeah, so I think that's one of the things that I was most impressed about it was obviously you see different people trying to do different things, and we've all been in coffee. The three of us have been in coffee and have seen underneath the hoods of a dozen different retailers and have been able to work alongside of tons of brilliant people when it comes to coffee. But it's very unique to find some place that does all of it. You know what I mean? That says, hey, we grow the coffee, we're innovating with coffee, we dry our coffee, we roast our coffee, and then we distribute coffee. That's a very unique gift. And so just so you know, from our perspective, we're so honored to partner with you because of that. And I know with Coffee de los Mayas, something Drew has spent the most time down there. Drew is the one that has raised up all the team, created all the menus, created all the profiles of all the drinks, is the one that's working with brew ratios and how different pieces work from a Coffee de los Mayas perspective. And when I put Drew down there and I said, hey, we're going to try some different coffees, but I'd really like to go with this one. Tell me what you think. Drew tried it and he's like, that's some good coffee, bro. That's some good stuff. Let's lean into that, which made my heart so happy because I felt like Pacific Northwest for America is the crib of where coffee has really grown and become something big. That's where we are located. That's where we help most of coffee retailers. So it's not like we haven't tasted good coffee. And when I sent Drew down there and then sent one of our techs down behind him to help with all the machine installs, who handled all the roasting for one of our biggest clients here, and had him taste it the same, he said, this is a great profile. This is great coffee. Lean into it. You've got something really special with them. And I know that, Drew, you've done a really great job at encouraging our kids to, hey, let's really get out there and speak to the fact that this is coffee grown in Belize, roasted in Belize, served in Belize by Belizeans. That's a pretty unique thing to be able to say. So it's been a great partnership from our perspective. So thank you for that.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. It's nice to hear. And just interesting enough, I was approached by just a random person on the street. I went to San Ignacio the other day, and I had a uniform on like I have now, well, with the Chanchich logo, and they said, "Are you from Galenchuk?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, I've just had a coffee at that coffee shop. Do you know about it?" I said, "Yes, absolutely." He says, "Do you like their coffee?" So I said, "Absolutely, it's our coffee." He says, "Really, Galenchuk coffee?" He loves it. And well done, you guys as well. Thank you. Thank you for promoting our product and giving it some sense out there. Thank you.
That's so cool.
Absolutely.
I'm curious, how long ago did they start coffee at the lodge? Has it been recent or has it been a few years?
Sir Barry started the coffee in 1990, I believe it was. Basically,
Wow.
the lodge opened in 1989, and directly after that, he started doing coffee, and he started doing cocoa, and he started doing various other things. And all of that has basically fallen by the wayside, really, because it was all just an experiment and a hobby, excepting for the coffee. The coffee that has done really well, and it's just growing. In fact, I've just sent almost 200 cases of coffee to our distribution company today. And there's 21-pound bags in a case, so that's a lot of coffee. And we do it all manually. Now there's no automation here. We go and harvest it manually. We dry it manually. We lay it out in the sun to dry, and then we clean it manually. We weigh it manually, we grind it, roast it manually, grind it manually, pack it manually, and then weigh it. It's actually quite a process.
Wow.
It's incredible that we do it, and we haven't got a lot of staff. At this stage, I've only got 3 staff that are doing it. Obviously, the pickers and the harvesters are on a different story, but the people packing and roasting the coffee are only 3 people, and they're just fantastic. I give them 2 weeks. When an order comes in, they have to deliver it in 2 weeks' time. Doesn't matter how big the order is. Isn't it so funny when we
I know. Go ahead, Ben.
I imagine it's probably not that bad to work with if you're working pretty much in paradise every day. It's gotta be pretty great.
every now and again, what it is March, I better get to work. So, yeah, it's incredible. I'm very fortunate to be here. I'm very privileged. It's not a job. It's a passion, and it's a way of life, and it's fantastic. And I can drink as much coffee as I like. And we do coffee tours from the lodge. Part of the activities is a coffee tour, a farm tour where we start with the chickens and the horses and the sauce plant and everything else, and they end up at the coffee, what we call the coffee bodega, which is the coffee roasting plant. And that's where the people see how the coffee is roasted and drink a fresh cup of coffee, which they have just seen roasted and grind. And I just pop up there all the time just to go and smell the wonderful coffee, being roasted. It's fantastic, man. Yeah. It's awesome. It's fantastic. And before I came here, I have to be honest, I actually didn't know anything else about coffee than drink it. Now I know there's different types of coffees. They've got different stages and all that. It's wonderful. I've been very fortunate.
Yeah.
I love that. Drew, I know you guys go out there. Drew, why don't you talk a little bit? I know Rudy flew out there. You got to see Malcom. You got to see the whole outfit. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was incredible. The first thing I noticed was incredible serenity of the whole place, of course, because like you said, you're incredibly isolated out there, but it's not like isolation. You're immersed in this beautiful paradise. So, I got the full tour. I was very, very lucky. I heard some incredible stories. I got to see, little sidebar. I got to see a video of him chasing an elephant off once or twice, because as the man who wears many hats.
No, yeah, unfortunately.
The farm itself was absolutely beautiful. I mean, everybody incredibly friendly and incredibly knowledgeable, and specifically in the coffee sphere, they seem incredibly passionate about what they did. And like you said, you have a very small team working in that specific area, and they're very efficient, and they work fast. And I was impressed with a lot of it, and the coffee is some of the best. And we pride ourselves, like Aaron said, we're from Pacific Northwest, which there's tons of coffee out here, so there's a lot of competition, and we pride ourselves in being picky about our coffee. And so, like when we come down there and try the coffee, it was incredibly impressive. And what are some of the challenges that you guys face? I know you said you grow the coffee. It's not very high up; it's pretty low elevation. Is there any specific challenges and hurdles that you guys had to, learn to overcome? And it's been a few years now.
Well, obviously the weather and the hurricanes that go through here, the winds and the rain, lots of rain, all that does affect the coffee. Depends on when your coffee plants are blooming, and depends on the rain, because it generally blooms like now, and then we start harvesting in August. It depends on the rain. The rain and storms go through. They could mess your bloom up, then your coffee is not going to be, or your harvest isn't going to be as big. So yes, we fight against the elements all the time. I must be honest, I was expecting, we got a lot of deer, a lot of wildlife. I was expecting more damage from the wildlife, like the deers and the peccaries. We've got the white-lipped peccary, we've got the collared peccary, those little pigs. And I was expecting them to cause more damage, but actually not. So we're fortunate, actually. It's mainly the weather and stuff like that affects us a lot. We haven't had any. I believe there had been some rot in the past or some coffee problems and that. But because we're so isolated and the way we deal with it, try and deal with it as organically as possible as well. To be as natural as possible. So we don't have that outside influence of all that stuff. So our coffee is very, very pure, I'd like to think, for what it is. Yes. And as you know, coffee is only supposed to grow at altitudes of 1,000 meters up and stuff like that. We're doing it almost sea level, and it's still a good coffee, and people love our coffee. Very seldom do we have guests come stay in our lodge that don't leave with a whole bunch of coffee with them, and that's always so rewarding when that happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the secret that we've been looking for all the years is they've been just growing it too high up.
Maybe too high coffee isn't that great. Yeah, there you go. Let's make this whole place a coffee plantation.
I love it. You're onto something. I know too. We've been really impressed with your staff too. Just not only Malcolm, have you been awesome just to work with, but also I know Anavar on your team, who we've got to work with a lot, has been such a great guy, and so willing to serve and so willing to show up and so willing to help us. And so obviously it's not just that you're producing great beans, but you're producing great people. And I was just so impressed with, your whole outfit. You've seen a lot of places, you've been a lot of places, you've done a lot of impressive things. Is there any good words you have for us, just as an entrepreneur, as somebody that obviously you picked up from, like you said, South Africa, you came all the way over here. I know you did some amazing things. And so we haven't even got into your whole backstory. Your backstory is incredible. Just some wisdom that you want to drop on our people that are listening today. Coffee, business, all of it.
Oh, that puts me on a spot. I've never thought I was the right person to give anybody wisdom about what you should do and what you shouldn't do. It's just opportunities. And when you see an opportunity, just take it by the horns and run with it. Even if you don't know what it is or what's going to happen, learn as you go on, and it will happen. The nice thing about Gallon Jug as it is, most of the staff, like Anavar, you mentioned Anavar, my lodge manager, they all grew up here. They lived here. They grew up here. Their parents worked here. They are all managers now. They went to our school and just developed. And I was very fortunate to be part of some of their growth and their development in their senior positions. It's really rewarding. And you know what? You guys have already also identified an opportunity in San Ignacio, and already I'm hearing good things about that, and it's nice to be associated with that. So, you really don't want to hear my history. It's going to be pretty boring. I've done a few things, and some really good and some bad. I don't know. But yes, this is one of the good things that I have done or am doing. It's probably one of the best decisions I've ever made. And I love being in Belize, and it's such a beautiful place. And if you haven't been to it yet, you should put it on your bucket list and come visit Belize and come visit our lodge and Gallon Jug. And we'll definitely make time and make you, when you leave, I want all the guests to leave with a wow factor and say, when they get home, they must sit down and say, wow, what the hell has just happened? That was amazing. I want to go back next year, And then I know we are a success. And that's what we're trying to do with all the staff. All the farm staff, they're all very important to this whole thing. Nobody's left out. It's all about us and tourism and just growth and just, hey, let's share it with the world because it is special and it's an amazing place.
Yeah, and we'll definitely tag you on the post today and give people the link to Chichon. And I think just like what you guys have created there is so beautiful, and I think we're just so grateful to be partnered with you guys. And what you said there at the end, I thought, I know you're kind of humble about your advice, but I will say this is that what you've done is something that we've really tried to do with helping Coffee de los Mayas, and that is let's identify people that are really gifted and let's pour the gas on helping them really elevate as people. Let's really give them opportunities to learn new things and show up and gain new skills, and then really elevate and realize they're going to have problems. They're going to have situations. It's not like they're perfect, but it's an opportunity for them to grow, and it's an opportunity for them to learn, and it's an opportunity for us to invest. So anyway, we're just really grateful for you, grateful for the partnership with you. And as Coffee de los Mayas looks to maybe one, maybe two new locations coming up here within the next year to 2 years, San Pedro on some different things, we definitely are going to be excited to be partnered with you and bringing beans out there as well and bringing just the excellence of what Gallon Jug offers throughout Belize. I know you're already spread out all over, but we love being partnered with you and love being able to bring that beauty to the whole country. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much. That's such a compliment, and I accept it as a compliment. Thank you, and we look forward to going on. And if I'm only supposed to be planting coffee for you, then let's do it. Let's do it together.
Yeah, I love it. Sounds awesome. Malcolm, thank you for joining us today. Drew, Ben, always good to have you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Whoever's tuning in for Coffee Experts Club, we'll see you back next week. Have a great day.
You're most welcome. Thank
See
you.
you guys.
Bye bye.